Did you know that as music teachers, we are sending our students messages all the time, super secret messages to our students every single day during class time, outside of class time? We are sending them messages about what's important for music and what's important to us. We do this all the time. It's called hidden curriculum. And if you're thinking about ways in which you want to shake things up for teaching for next year in your current job or maybe in a new position that you're taking on, identifying hidden curriculum and acting on that is a really good way to start. If you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I have no idea what she is talking about, or maybe you do know what hidden curriculum is and you tried doing something with it maybe this year and it didn't quite take, no worries. No worries at all because we're going to get into that right now. Hey folks, welcome back. This is Teaching to a Different Beat, a YouTube channel devoted entirely to turning music education on its head and trying to help other people just like me actually, who are just trying to do things differently the way that they've been done for years and years and years. So, teaching to a different beat. Thank you so much for stopping in. I do want to talk a little bit about what hidden curriculum is and why it's really important. So, let me just give you an example. In my first teaching job, a number of years ago when I was teaching middle school general music and choir and band and handbells and guitar and musical theater and all the things. In one of my general music classes, I had simply asked my middle school students, what do you think is the most important composer to be studying? Or who are the most important composers? Who are the best composers? That's pretty much how I phrase it. Who are the best composers? Who are the most important? And I was shocked, absolutely shocked that they had all said they listed off what we would consider the greats. Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, all of those folks. I was really surprised by that. It floored me. Back then it floored me. Today it wouldn't have floored me. Today it makes complete sense. But why did my students think that these are the best? Who told them that they were the best? And in short, it was me. I was the one who said, "These are the best composers." I actually never really said that, but I said it all the time without saying those exact words. I said it by choosing to use those composers in my classroom day in and day out. I said it with the active listening activities that we were doing and the music that I chose. I said it with how we were studying composition and how to become composers. And I would, highlight those composers as examples. I said it without saying it. I was promoting this hidden message, this hidden curriculum that Western music is the best music. And so that was a message that I was sending loud and clear to my students. So now I'm not surprised at all that that's what they felt because that's what they were living in my classroom every single time I got to see them every single week. And so that's one example of hidden curriculum. You're probably experiencing hidden curriculum yourself, right? I know that I did. I know that when I was going to be an undergraduate in music education, then a master's student, and also a doctorate student, there were things that I simply had to do. I had to audition, and here was the list of acceptable pieces to audition with. I had to take exams, and I would have the listening 100 exam where they would drop the needle, and I'd have to identify what composer this could have been or what piece this was, and it was all the greats. So we are products, all of us are products of hidden curriculum. It is everywhere. We all do it ourselves to our students. We don't mean to. That's why it's called hidden curriculum. But nevertheless, we do it. And so the idea of hidden curriculum then can kind of be kind of almost crippling because we do it to our own students. We don't mean to. We say it day in and day out. In schools, when we schedule, for example, when we schedule modern band as a really great opportunity for performance for our students, which I love the fact that we're including that. But when we schedule it before school or after school, what is that hidden message that we're sending to our students? We're telling our students, yes, we love modern bands, but we don't value it enough to schedule it during the day where everybody can have access to it, right? Because not everybody can get to school before the day starts. Not everybody can stay after school. So we're sending a certain message. If we are taking our teaching practices and we are, whether intentionally or unintentionally, we are really centering ourselves as a teacher in the classroom, where we are doing so much of that, what we call stage on the stage, right? We know all of this information as teachers, and it's our job to share that information and teach our students all of our wonderful knowledge without really even asking them what they want to learn or what they want to achieve. What is the message that we are sending to our students? It's hidden, but we are saying it loud and clear. We are saying to them, I am more valuable than you are in the music classroom. My knowledge about music is more valuable than your knowledge is of music. I matter more than you matter. I know no one's really saying it, but we say it by accident, right? That's hidden curriculum. So this is a really good way to think about as you're planning for next year. Now, before you jump through the screen and you slap me in the face a few times and think to yourself, what? I can't plan for next year. I'm too busy surviving the end of the school year. But as you're planning for next year, this is a really good launching point to make some really key changes in your curriculum, really key changes to how you teach and what you want to teach and what are those messages that you're sending. The reason why I say at the time of this video, it is April. And the reason why I say that this is a great time to do this is because sometimes we want to make changes that require extra, extra leeway, extra time. For example, if you wanted to add a new ensemble into the school year next year, well, your administrators, they're thinking about curriculum, they're thinking about scheduling, they're thinking about what to add, what to take out. They're thinking about all of that now at the end of the school year. So if that's something that you want to do, you need to involve them now. If you're thinking about aligning, competencies or what are we going to really teach our students from pre-K all the way through 12, we can't really solve that in a half day or full day professional development workshop at the end of the summer, right before school starts. Like that's not time to solve that, right? The time to solve that, or at least try to start solving that, is actually right now. So as much as we all just kind of want to scoot through the end of the school year and get to the summer, and which I really want for all of you, you should have your summers completely. I would really highly encourage you to at least have a conversation or at least dig into your own stuff, your own class, your own lessons, your own content, and try to identify what are some of the hidden messages that I might be sending to my students unintentionally, right? Because again, that is hidden. What are some of those messages and what's one thing I can do or two things that I could do next year that maybe can subvert that a little bit? I'll give you an example. I have a whole document here. I'll show it to you, but it is really just taking stock of what you're teaching and how you're teaching it. And it's really meant to just get you organized on things that you can identify as being hidden. I also want to reiterate that you have to just begin small. Hidden curriculum is not going to be solved overnight. It is not going to be solved in a year. In fact, I worked with a couple of schools last year where all we did for months was just identify all of the hidden curriculum. Now, before we get actually into the hidden curriculum inventory that I've created for teachers to use as a way to identify where their hidden curriculum is, I do want to note that I did plop a couple of links here below in the description of this video. The first link is access to a free resource. It's called the 5 instructional strategies that you can do today to innovate your music classroom. And I hope that that will be as helpful as I think it will be for you. And so take advantage of that for sure. Definitely take advantage of that. And then if you like this channel, if you like the things that I'm trying to do with it and you like the vision, feel free to support this channel as well. And I'll plop that link for the Buy Me a Coffee website in the links below as well. Thank you so much. Now, on to the hidden curriculum inventory. Okay, so here is an example of a document that I use to take stock of hidden curriculum in my own offerings, and I use it with my students at Longy to take stock of what they want to do when they're in the classroom and what they're kind of planning for in the future. And I just call it what's in and then what's out, uncovering hidden curriculum. So if I were to start completing this, if you look onto the left, you see all of these different things that I just kind of brain dumped as far as things that we are including in our classroom. And this document is not meant to be like a gotcha. It's not meant to be a, hey, you are not doing all of these things. Shame on you. There is no way that you can do all of the things. Like this is something that I think that we kind of forget is that we're so worried about doing all the right things all the time that this is one thing where we really can't do all of the things. And so we have to just be purposeful in some of our choices. And this helps us do this. So when I think about, for example, the first one here, ensemble offerings. I think about the big three, right? Like most schools, most districts have choir, band, and orchestra, right? And so I plop that in there because that's been pretty much every single district that I've been in. And then I think about, okay, so because we are censoring these three and we've been doing that for years and years and years, what are some things that we're excluding? And who are the students that we are excluding because we are excluding other ensemble offerings? So really cool ensemble offerings that, gosh, I've always wanted to offer in the schools that I taught were things like steel drums, drums plural. Oh, laptop orchestra. This, to me, I think is just one of the coolest things ever. I love laptop orchestra, and I think it's a really great addition. Things such as, well, modern band. I did talk about modern band a little bit earlier. So anyway, I would keep filling out this document essentially just to kind of check the lay of the land. Where are we and where am I at and where do I hope to be? And so at the end of a school year, I take stock in the left-hand column, and then in the right-hand column, I purposely choose one or two things to do to maybe include more folks, include more experiences for people who maybe I'm not reaching in my music program. Okay? They could be big things, they could be small things, they could be things that, wow, I really want to include this ensemble. I have no idea how to teach this ensemble, and it's a good thing that I did this in April because now I can take a class over the summer to help me teach modern band, for example. I can take a class that will let me learn the ins and outs of laptop orchestra. That's another benefit of doing this type of activity towards the end of the school year. So that way you have the summer, if you really want to take steps, take meaningful, relevant, practical steps to actually do the things that you wanted to do next year in the fall. So this is a really good resource. I think using it once or twice a year is plenty. And I know that it's been just very useful for me. So anyway, I hope it's useful for you. Well, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope something was useful for you. And I hope to see you again in the future here on this channel. If you have any questions at all, if you have any comments, anything like that, I would love to hear them. And in the meantime, I hope that you do everything that you can to teach to a different beat. Take care. Bye-bye.